Most Americans believe retirement is guaranteed, a finish line secured through decades of work and contributions. Pensions, 401ks, and Social Security feel like promises written into the structure of society itself. But retirement systems are not vaults. They are financial machines dependent on markets, assumptions, and politics. When those assumptions fail, retirement stops being security and becomes another form of systemic risk. The old pension model promised stability, lifetime income, and protection from market chaos for workers. Companies and governments guaranteed payouts, absorbing investment risk on behalf of employees and retirees. That model collapsed quietly under rising longevity, falling returns, and corporate balance sheet pressures. What replaced it shifted risk downward, from institutions to individuals, without clear warning or consent. Defined contribution plans told workers freedom replaced security, choice replaced guarantees, and markets replaced certainty. Your retirement became a portfolio exposed to volatility, fees, timing, risk, and behavioral mistakes. If markets rise, success feels earned. If markets fall, losses are framed as personal failure. The system removed responsibility upward while preserving profits, management bonuses, and administrative fees. Pension funds themselves operate on optimistic assumptions that few participants ever see or understand. Expected returns assume steady growth, low volatility, and cooperative market conditions for decades ahead. When reality diverges, funding gaps appear, quietly widening beneath reassuring annual statements. Those gaps do not disappear. They accumulate, deferred into future crises and political negotiations. Public pensions face even harsher arithmetic as demographics shift and tax bases strain under economic pressure. Fewer workers support more retirees, while investment returns struggle to meet promised obligations. Governments respond by adjusting benefits, raising contributions, or delaying retirements incrementally. Each adjustment feels small, but collectively, they redefine what retirement actually means. Private pensions followed a similar path, hollowed out through freezes, buyouts, and restructuring agreements. Companies replaced guarantees with lump sums, transferring longevity and market risk to departing workers. Once accepted, those risks never returned to the institution, regardless of future outcomes. Security dissolves into individual responsibility, framed as empowerment rather than abandonment. Retirement funds invest heavily in stocks, bonds, real estate, and alternative assets seeking yield. These assets perform well during expansions, reinforcing confidence in long-term planning narratives, but downturns expose fragility, especially when withdrawals begin during prolonged market stress. Sequence risk punishes retirees unlucky enough to exit careers at the wrong economic moment. Fees quietly drain retirement accounts over decades, compounding losses invisible in yearly summaries. Asset managers earn regardless of performance, while retirees absorb volatility and downside alone. Small percentage fees translate into massive wealth transfers from savers to financial intermediaries. The system rewards scale and complexity, not simplicity or long-term participant outcomes. Inflation adds another silent erosion, reducing purchasing power even when account balances appear stable. Fixed incomes struggle while healthcare, housing, and essentials rise faster than official measures suggest. Retirees discover late that nominal returns do not guarantee real security or dignity. Longevity turns from blessing into financial threat under systems never designed for extended lifespans. Retirement planning assumes continuity, stable markets, functioning governments, and predictable financial institutions. History shows continuity breaks regularly through wars, crises, inflation, and policy shifts. When systems strain, retirees possess little leverage, limited mobility, and shrinking options. Promises become negotiable precisely when reliance becomes absolute. This is why retirement is not a destination, but an exposure to long-term systemic risk. The illusion lies in believing time alone converts contributions into certainty automatically. Retirement systems are living structures, shaped by incentives, demographics, and political priorities. Understanding that reality is the first step toward seeing retirement as strategy, not guarantee. The most dangerous retirement risk is not market crashes, but rule changes made after contributions stop. Benefits promised today can be revised tomorrow through legislation, court rulings, or accounting necessity. Public pensions already reduce cost of living adjustments quietly, framed as sustainability rather than cuts. Retirees learn that contracts mean less when governments redefine affordability during fiscal stress. Bankruptcy law treats pensions differently depending on structure, jurisdiction, and political negotiation power. Corporate bankruptcies have reduced retiree benefits repeatedly while preserving executive compensation and creditor priority. Pension obligations compete with bondholders, suppliers, and survival itself. During restructuring proceedings, workers discover late their retirement, rank below capital in the legal hierarchy. Defined contribution plans offer no protection during systemic crises, only exposure disguised as ownership. Market crashes near retirement permanently impair withdrawals, regardless of long-term recovery narratives. Later, time becomes an enemy once income depends on liquidation rather than accumulation phases. Sequence risk transforms timing misfortune into irreversible financial damage for retirees. Social Security itself relies on demographic balance, wage growth, and political willingness to adjust taxation. Trust fund projections assume reforms, yet reforms always arrive slower than math requires. When adjustments come, they often target future retirees rather than current beneficiaries. Each generation inherits a slightly weaker promise than the one before. Retirement assets are increasingly financialized, tied to global markets beyond domestic control. Foreign crises, currency shocks, and geopolitical conflicts ripple directly into pension portfolios. Diversification spreads exposure, but does not eliminate systemic correlations. During global stress events, when everything sells off together, retirement accounts provide no shelter. Liquidity constraints worsen outcomes, forcing sales at unfavorable prices to meet living expenses. Retirees cannot simply wait out downturns without income like younger investors. Forced selling locks losses permanently, converting volatility into realized damage. Markets recover, but portfolios already spent cannot participate fully again. Many retirees underestimate healthcare costs, which rise faster than inflation and longevity expectations. Medical expenses consume fixed incomes rapidly, forcing withdrawals earlier and larger than planned. Insurance gaps amplify risk, while long-term care remains financially catastrophic for many families. Health becomes the largest unhedgeable retirement liability over time. The system assumes financial literacy without providing education proportionate to responsibility transferred. Individuals manage complex portfolios, once handled by institutions with teams and safeguards. Mistakes become personal failures, even when driven by structural design and opaque incentives. Responsibility shifted downward, but power and information remained concentrated above. Retirement therefore functions less as security and more as deferred exposure to systemic fragility. It works smoothly only when markets cooperate and policy remains benign indefinitely. History suggests neither condition persists across decades consistently. Preparedness requires acknowledging risk, not trusting narratives designed to calm participation. The solution is not panic, but realism about what retirement systems can and cannot guarantee. Flexibility, diversification beyond financial assets, and reduced dependency improve resilience. Skills, adaptability, and lower fixed expenses matter more than projected balances. Retirement safety comes from options, not promises written decades earlier. Understanding retirement as risk management changes how savings, work, and expectations align. It reframes independence as adaptability rather than age-based withdrawal from productivity. The future favors those who treat retirement as transition, not termination. Security emerges from agency, not blind faith in institutions under strain. History shows systems bend, break, and rewrite promises when pressure replaces optimism. Retirement is no exception. It reflects power, incentives, and mathematics, not morality. If this changed how you see money, risk, and the future, subscribe. Because understanding history is the first defense against repeating its financial disasters.